Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Upstate Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast, where we show more who the realtors are, not just what they do. Today's guest embodies what it means to combine hometown roots, real estate results, and a genuine heart for people. Greg Coutu is a native of South Carolina, upstate, and over 2 decades, he's built not just a business, but a reputation, helping clients, making big decisions, navigating lakeside lifestyles, and doing it with integrity and care. To give you some perspective, in the latest ranking, he posted nearly 50 million in volume in a single year, putting him among the top agents in the upstate. And when it comes to area-specific expertise, Greg lives and breathes Lake Country, especially around Lake Keowee, and built his business on knowledge of the community, the market, and the lifestyle. But today, we're not here for stats or listings. We're here to get to know Greg on a more personal level, the guy behind the title, the person behind the place. Welcome to the podcast, Greg.
Thanks, man. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too. So, Greg, we come a long way. It's crazy how everything's kind of going full circle. Had Maggie on, had Blair on. I've had Tammy Woodbury. It's crazy. You were the 5th realtor I ever talked to. And I got to kind of start off with this story a little bit. Greg, you and I were working out at Orange Theory for, 3-4 months. And I never knew that you were a realtor. I didn't know that you were on the top in the area at all. So obviously I started doing Upstate Real Producers. Your name came up. But Greg, you got a heart of a champion. I never knew a realtor could work out like how you were. You may have not known this. I think at the time I was 28, 29. I was trying to keep up with you. So I just had to put that out
just fine, as I recall.
It wasn't easy, man. Trust me. But Greg, let's dive in really quick. You grew up in the area. Tell us just a little bit more about Greg.
Born and raised. My parents are from Long Island, New York. My dad played soccer at the Merchant Marine Academy and was an engineer. He was recruited out of college to do working in the nuclear industry. So my mom and dad moved down to Seneca in 1977, and my twin sister and I were born in 81. So I've lived my whole life in the area. When I graduated high school, I had some opportunities to wrestle in college and do different things. But when I toured Clemson, it just felt like it was the right place to be. My parents divorced when I was young. My dad remarried, and my dad and stepmom have 2 kids. So I've got a little brother and sister that are 10 and 12 years younger. So it was an opportunity for me to stay close to home, go to the soccer games, see them grow up. 10, 12 years when you're, 25 and they're 13 and 15, that's a big gap. Now I'm almost 45 and they're in their 30s. The gap is a little bit different, but we wanted to keep the family unit together. So anyways, went to Clemson, got out of Clemson, took a job in banking thinking that my wife, the irony of this whole story is, took a job in Greenville in banking thinking that my wife would end up in Greenville in a health profession. Long story, fast forward now to 21 years later, she works as a nurse practitioner in downtown Greenville, and I sell real estate back there. So but she ended up getting a job at Oconee Memorial, a close family friend. Owns a real estate company there, and he had been after me to come sell real estate. And so I called and said, hey, I wasn't gone for a year, but said, hey, I'm gonna come back. I'll try the real estate thing. And I got into real estate and just kind of kept working my way through it. So very much a local yokel story. Married my high school sweetheart. My girls are at Clemson now. I mean, when we tell our story, it sounds like people that never got out of the area. But I can back that up with, I make my living, selling to people that have to work 30 years somewhere else to come live the life that I get to live every day.
Yeah.
And that gave me a lot of perspective and a lot of appreciation outside. You're born where you're born and you go, okay, this is what it is. As I've gotten older, I've gained a lot of appreciation. Raising my girls there was wonderful. Being able to run a business there, I go out to eat or go get a drink. I see people I know. Yeah. I like that. I don't want the anonymity of a large city. I like when I go somewhere, I see somebody I know. So I never got out of Seneca, but I've traveled a little bit. Got a little bit of an education and different things. And I think know enough to know that that's a great place to be. My story's pretty simple. When I tell it, it sounds like I'm just a boring guy, but I think we did to do some cool stuff.
Well, Greg, I've known you for a while and always admired just the person you are, just taking realtor alone, like you're exceptional in that. But what life experiences or challenges you will say that kind of like just shape and mold you?
I think I was raised by good parents. I think that was a big deal. I was always taught what was right and what was wrong, and there was no compromise. So I had a good backbone. I woke up on Saturday mornings and did chores. We grew up middle class. I didn't need anything, or anything like that. I was very well taken care of, but I was taught the value of things. I was taught how to work. And then honestly, it's similar to your background. Yours was football, mine was wrestling. I was already a great student. I was already doing the right things. I tripped and fell into the wrestling room. A buddy of mine drugged me in there. He said, "You don't play basketball." And it changed my life. The grind, the mental strength that I gained through that sport prepared me for college and then prepared me for after college. You jokingly say I'm competitive. I am extremely competitive within me. I love to see others succeed.
Oh, yeah.
I love to see others succeed. Now, I love to be challenged in a good way. Don't get me wrong. But I have a healthy fear of failure. I don't like to fail. So my sophomore year of high school, I was drugged in the wrestling room. I went 12 and 13. I wrestled 130, 135, 140, 145, and 152. I was literally the sacrificial lamb.
Wow.
And I was 12 and 13, which is one shy of 500. And that's been the story of my life, is being one shy of being complacent, right? And next year, I went 41-9. I won like my last 20-something matches in one state. And then the next year, one state again. And it was just, I was able to turn a switch and everything started to make sense. But then I was able to back it into understanding how that happened. I had help, but I also studied and researched and focused and worked. And luck favors the prepared. I learned that at a very young age. So when I went to college, I didn't skip class. I got 2 girls in college right now. They hate talking to me about college. But I didn't skip class. I went to class. I took notes. I took it seriously. I didn't, I knew nobody was going to ever ask me my GPA, but it didn't matter. I was there for a reason. I jokingly tell people, this will give you an idea how I was raised. My college was paid for on an academic scholarship, and I wanted to work my freshman year. And my mom said, "You're not allowed to work your freshman year. You got to keep your scholarship, and then you've earned the right to get a job after your freshman year." Now think about that. Now I didn't raise my kids that way. I wish I had.
Yeah.
I wish I was a little tougher than I was, but I wanted to work, was denied the ability to work while in college to make sure that I did my job first, and then I earned the right to go get a part-time job. And all my college buddies were, waiting for their parents to put money in the ATM machine. I was working, never missed class. I just always stayed on that path.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing now. I'm 21 years into the profession. And I tell young agents all the time, and they look at an agent that like me that's been in it a long time, and they don't see that.
Yeah.
They see what's now, and they go, "How do I get to where you are now?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Well, we got to go back a ways."
Yeah.
Because I started at 0.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when I sold, and remember I told you the 12 and 13? I'll never forget when I sold 4.9 and didn't sell 5 million. And I clearly remember the 9.9. And I was like, is this some kind of game? Why are we being tortured? And it was like the hunger was given to me to do more. And I've never chased numbers. I've never chased money. That was never really my focus. It's beyond anything that I ever could even have set a goal for. But what I've always been good at is just showing up. That's why I told my kids, go to class. You learn while you're in class.
Yeah.
I show up. We got back from a vacation. I took the family to France this summer. I got back. I worked like 47 days in a row. I didn't need to work 47 days in a row, but I had work to do.
Yeah.
That's every weekend. I mean, that was in a row. And I've done stretches of 90-something days in a row. And I just think a lot of people today want whatever success looks like to them, but not as many people really want to do it.
They don't want to go through the journey.
I talk about this, David Goggins is, right? So one of my favorite things about Goggins is not that he gets you pumped up or whatever, but one of my favorite quotes about Goggins, he told Joe Rogan one day, he said, "You think when I wake up, you think I just throw on my shoes and go, don't you?" He said, "Everybody thinks that." He said, "You know what I do? I stare at my shoes for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and I go, you got to do this today. You ran 30 miles yesterday. You did 1,000 pull-ups yesterday." He said, "But everybody thinks I just wake up with this unworldly desire to go be better the next day." He said, "No, I wake up and I look at my shoes for 30 minutes before I finally talk myself into going. And we all do that, right? We all avoid the workout. We avoid the diet. We avoid the job. We avoid whatever. But if we do it, when we're done, we always feel better about doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So why do we put ourselves through that? I don't know. I don't know why. It's our human nature. But I focus on the reward at the end, knowing that the punishment or the work or the grind or the adversity or whatever in the middle is how I'm going to get there. And so, so for me, it was a healthy upbringing, being taught the right things. That was the foundation for sure. I give a lot of credit to wrestling. It just built me different in my head.
Yeah.
That once you learn that your mind will lie to you, it changes everything, because this is yours, this is mine. Why would your mind tell you you can't do something? And yet every day we all hear that voice.
Yeah.
The first time I smashed through that wall and told that voice to shut up and realized I could do more, my vision went from here to here.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, we can do anything now. And you hear people talk about that, but how many people do we know stop at the wall, right? So that was the thing. I broke through the wall, a light bulb went off, and my success in that sport went to the moon. And then I just took that model and applied it to college. Then I applied it to work. And it's the same principles. Everything's the same. Mm-hmm. We just have to figure out how to apply it, right? So I imagine for you and for other people, it can be different things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Everybody's dedicated to something. Everybody's interested in something. For you, it was football. For me, it was wrestling. For somebody else, it could be the discipline of music or art or something like that. But they create, but it takes discipline. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
They have to practice at their craft. They may have a certain amount of natural talent. I wouldn't deny that some of us have an ability to do things maybe slightly better. But in your world, the difference between a really good high school football player and a D1 player might just be a little bit. And then the difference from a good D1 player to an NFL player, you start to get in small percentiles, make all the difference.
Yep.
It's no different in my field.
Yeah.
If you look at the people that perform well in real estate, by and large, they work hard, they're dedicated to their craft, they get better every day, and they probably have been through a lot of adversity along the way. And it was no different for me. And I just kept showing up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people now are 2025. A lot of people have forgotten what the recession felt like. Guess who hasn't?
You.
Guess who wakes up and when I don't want to do something and goes, do you remember what you said to yourself in 2009 and 2010? What you would do if somebody showed up to buy a house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You promised yourself you would never complain about it again. Well, here we are. And we just kept putting deals together, so the business built, right?
Yeah.
This is a building block business. So the work you put in on the front end, the middle, pays off on the back end.
Absolutely.
There's no instant gratification.
It's like most things in life, right?
That's why I say it's all the same. We just have to apply it slightly differently to this thing, slightly differently to this thing. How do I try to keep a successful and happy marriage? Sometimes sometimes we gotta go. We were in France. We went to the Christian Dior Museum. That was not on my list of things to do, but it was what my wife and girls wanted to do. And guess what? I ended up enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
Didn't complain about it. Showed up.
So after battle, just showing up.
And so for me, the big thing was wrestling, and what it did was it helped me understand that day one, that I kept working hard, and I still work hard today. When you named off the people you talked about earlier, we're all different personalities, different markets, different amounts of expertise, different ways of doing it. But I promise you one thing is consistent among all of us. We all work. None of it fell in our lap.
I saw that. I don't know if you remember, you were a part of our very first Upstate Real Producers Real Talk panel. Mm-hmm. You guys have all these things in common, but you guys said the same things, but just in different ways. Exactly. And everybody was like, ooh, I'm like, just listen. Like, sometimes it's just how you apply yourself. And you know what I love, and I have no expertise in wrestling, but I have quickly found out, not to diminish the sport that I play, obviously it is some grueling and it's tough in its own way, but there's one person who I know that I said, the only person in my entire life that ever outworked me, ever, I only give this one person credit, you probably already knew who I'm gonna say, is Grady Jerry.
Yep.
and he played wrestle. He wrestled, and it's crazy that mindset that he had. I would walk into the house, me and Grady roommates all throughout college, and this guy already on the floor, drenched in sweat. No, and the thing is, I was a hard worker, but I knew by the time I got down on the floor, I was never going to catch him. Like, it's like, well, you already did 100. I'm not gonna catch you. Yeah. And I almost felt like he did it to get at me.
He was letting you know.
Oh yeah. And people ask me, like, was Grady like this crazy talented person? I'm like, no. But I'm going to tell you right now, the way that guy hit you in the first quarter, he's hitting you the same way in the fourth quarter. You better hope you don't go to overtime. He just brings it every single time he brings it. And not many people can take that. They just can't take it. So he knows, like, hey, you may get me in the first quarter, but the game is played all the way to the fourth. It's the reason why we have 4 quarters.
Yeah, and the other thing that I learned, and it's the same in business, is, it's a one-on-one sport. I love teams. I play baseball. I love baseball too. But, wrestling, I couldn't blame anybody else.
Yeah.
It's 100% accountability. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what is the case in my real estate business?
Oh yeah, it's only you.
It's me.
Yep.
It's me. And when I say and again, everybody's motivated differently. For me, a fear of failure, a lot of people would say that's a bad thing. Well, for some people it might be. For me, it's a good thing. For me, it's fuel.
Oh yeah.
You can succeed to be great, or you can succeed to make sure that you never fail. Either way, you're driving forward, right? Mm-hmm. And accountability. So I've messed up, and I don't point the finger at anybody else. We learn from it. We share that. That's another thing. I share experiences. Just because I fell on my face with this thing doesn't mean I need to keep that in my back pocket and watch Robert fall on his face.
Yeah.
If I see Robert doing something and I go, hey, let me tell you what I did, how it worked out for me, how it didn't work out for me, and maybe it helps you out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But accountability was huge. Adversity was huge. And it's a difficult thing. We were just talking before we got on the air here about, being a father. That's one of the hardest things about being a parent is, I want my girls to be safe and comfortable and happy. And yet I know probably the best parts about me came out of adversity.
Yep.
It came out of my parents' divorces. It came out of, injuries. It came out of downswings and things like that, right? Yep. That's where, and I look back and I go, man, I don't want to do that again. Mm-hmm. But would I take that away from my experience of where I am today? I wouldn't.
No.
So welcome, you got a little bit more time, but that's the hardest thing is, how much do we allow our kids to be comfortable, and how much do we allow them to trip and fall? And instead of picking them up, let them dust themselves off a little bit, right? Very tricky thing. Luckily, my parents were really good at figuring out how to balance that. Mm. I knew I was loved at a very high level. I didn't lack anything, but I was given enough rope to figure out how to manage this, my mind, my heart. And again, some of that's just luck.
Yeah.
Some of that's just luck. But I failed forward a few times. I failed and as a result, fell forward with it. And I still do today. I'm still obsessive about the details. And what you'll find is the details are important in real estate no matter what. As you get into the higher end of real estate, the people I work with are obsessive about the details, right? So now I have to make sure I'm always a step ahead of them. Mm. And so it's stressful. It's a lot, but it also fuels me. It gives me good satisfaction. I like being helpful. I don't think about, when I was younger, I thought about the money and I needed to make money to pay the bills and do the, now that just is what it is. And we just focus on the work and we want to be great at it. And I know that sounds cliche, but there's no difference in the people you're talking to and the people that are in the top of any field. That's that extra little bit is they're obsessive about being great.
Oh yeah.
I don't need it. I don't need a pat on the back. I don't even pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
But I like just checking the boxes.
I know Ray Lewis really well, and I was fortunate to meet
also a wrestler, for the record.
He was?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And I was fortunate enough to meet him through Grady.
Uh-huh.
And I remember he came to talk to the football team at Clemson, and he said, "You got to be pissed off for greatness." And I'll never forget that. So like, it's crazy. I was actually talking to Lucas here. My dad was talking, "You just got like 10 jobs. You always doing something." I'm just trying to be great. Yeah. If you know me long enough and you talk to me, and sometimes people will call me, and the number one thing I'll say when they call me, like, "Hey, what's going on?" Just trying to be great. You just gotta be pissed off for it. You gotta tell yourself that over and over and over. And Greg, obviously, by no stretch of imagination, obviously this didn't just happen. You one of the top realtors, not in just the upstate, but in the state. Like, what's that one principle that you kind of live by no matter what, that you tell yourself all the time?
I tell people this all the time. So my dad was a nuclear engineer, basically, right? So his brain's the opposite side of my brain. You know, his strengths and my strengths are very different. But he gave me, when I got into business and we started talking about it, he gave me the easiest advice ever. Just work hard and do the right thing.
Well, Greg, on that note, what I'll say while we wrap up, I knew that the impression that you had on me from the time I saw you, before I even know who you were, what you did, how much real estate you sold, I knew there's always a slight chance you would have said no, but I knew when I text you, like, man, like, I know Greg will show up. So I appreciate that so much. And Greg, just for our viewers, while we wrap up here, how can somebody get in touch with you via for personal or through social media?
Yeah, so my assistant sort of does all the, if you see like the, "Hey, we sold a house" thing. Yeah. Because it's funny, because people will like message me, "Hey, congratulations," and she's like, "He doesn't see this." Yeah. You know, but no, I mean, it's but I have personal stuff, I have business stuff, but I'm easy to find. 864-230-5911. I'm a cell phone guy. It's been buzzing. We're gonna sit here, and I'll return calls on the way home. But I'm easy to find. I hope that if this goes to people that are in this business or a vendor for this business, I know that's a big part of your focus, is not just real estate, but the people that help us.
Yeah.
I hope that I've either met them or will meet them in a business deal and we'll have a positive impact that way. But yeah, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm always around, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I mean, I'm always happy to help people. If somebody's got a question, I'm not your broker. Legal disclaimer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, if I can help people understand that we all start at the same place.
Yeah.
We all start over at zero every January too. Yep. And it's a nasty game, man.
Oh yeah.
You can feel good about yourself for a little bit of time, and then it's like, I'm back to zero. If I can help somebody in this business in any way, shape, or form, I'm always happy to do that. I always say this too. I've had help.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I've worked real hard. I've done what I feel like is my part, but I had a lot of help. I had a lot of luck. I had a lot of good people spend some time with me and teach me. And some people will hoard that. I'm not hoarding that. Scarcity mindset is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see you do well. I want to see my fellow real estate agents do well. That's not going to hurt me. It's never once hurt me that somebody else did well. Never once. Inspired me, challenged me. Sure. Impacted me negatively. Not one time, man. Yeah. Not one time.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And we'll just wrap up here. And what I'll say is, again, thank you so much for your inspiration, your knowledge. And so this will conclude another episode of Upstate Real Producers Beyond the Pages. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, comment to keep up with other top realtors like Greg in the upstate area, to hear their story, not just them as a realtor, but them outside being a realtor, just truly who they are. Greg, thank you so much. I think we all kind of pretty fired up to go get some pickleball.
Enjoyed it, man.